The current Manchester United starting 11 lacks balance. Surprise? Not really. It's not really a surprise. I'm pretty sure we all know that. We look at the 11, particularly this 11 at the moment, and say there is a lack of balance in this side. It's pretty clear, it's pretty obvious for all to see. And we're going to go through that. We're going to discuss why this side has a lack of balance. But I think it's important that we discuss balance also in a different way to which people typically do. See, what people will talk about with balance is they will go through the defensive balance, the midfield balance, and the forward line balance. And that's important. We have to do that. It's a good starting point to get an idea of the foundation we're working with. But there's also a different way we can look at balance as well. So we will start off with that initial approach, talking about the defensive balance of the side. We are talking about, realistically, the back four. Are these defenders balanced? Do they complement each other in terms of profile, etc., things like that? Of course, looking at this 11, you would say that they don't really. You can see they're all right-footed, for example, so instantly a lack of balance because they all want to play to this side of the pitch. That's a lack of balance. We can also look at the balance of the side and say how many of these players really thrive when playing out from the back. Varane, not really. Maguire, not when facing a high press. Wan-Bissaka, not particularly. You could also talk about the balance of speed across the defence and things like that as well. It's all important. We can do the same if we move into the midfield. We can talk about balance. Is there a balance of ground coverage, ball winning ability, but also passing ability, ball carrying creativity in the final third? They're all important things. And in the same, in the final third of the pitch, is the front line balanced? We all tend to say no, because one, they are all right-footed, so that lacks balance, apart from Rasmus Højlund, of course, up front. But then the other thing we say is that they are all shoot-first players. What do I mean by being a shoot-first player? Basically players where the first instinct isn't to create an opportunity or a chance, it is to shoot a goal. Take Garnacho. Of course he gets a lot of assists over the course of the season. Same for Marcus Rashford on the left as well. But ultimately, when it comes down to it, in the final third, you can see them, their first thought is, can I get a shot off at goal? Rather than, can I find my striker in the box? So people talk about a lack of balance across the United 11. The lack of balance is still there if we actually switch to a stronger 11. We bring Lisandro Martinez into the side, Luke Shaw. I think most people would argue this is our strongest starting 11. But still, there is a lack of balance. Yes, now we have two left-footers down this side of the pitch, but in my opinion, this squad is still lacking balance, even when it is at its strongest. But why is it lacking balance? That's the important thing. And that's why we need to look at changing the way we look at balance. And if we go back to this board here, not about splitting the pitch just from the defensive setup, the midfield, but also the forward line. But we have to go the other way as well, across the pitch. Look at the balance of the left-hand side, the middle of the pitch, and the right-hand side. So the question is, why is that so important?
So before we continue into the video, a quick shout out to today's video sponsor, jerseyfifa.com, the home of all of the greatest football kits. Whether that be the new latest releases or the old classic ones like this, Jersey FIFA has something for everyone, and now you can check it out yourself using the link in the description down below. And also make sure to use code JerseyFIFA for 10% off when you order.
So if the question is why is it so important to split the pitch this way as well, for me the answer is actually quite obvious if you just really think about it. So again, currently we will look at the balance in the defence. Let's say in possession. What's the balance like? How good are they on the ball, etc. But if you think about it, how often does the balance between Luke Shaw, our left back, and Diogo Dalot, our right back, really matter? It doesn't really. How often do you see those two players pass to each other? Not that often. Alright, so let me just stop it there a second because I'm editing the video and I don't think I worded that too well, so let me just quickly go over it again. Of course, the balance between a right back and a left back is still important. It still holds great value to a side. For example, if your left back is tucking in from the back, you need a right back who can complement that in a different way. But what I'm talking about here, specifically in this video, is passing dynamics on the ball. Passing dynamics. And the point I'm trying to make is, the balance between Shaw and Dalot isn't so important in terms of, are they good technical players? How quick are they? They don't need to complement each other in that way. So hopefully that clears it up a little bit. Yes, the balance across the defence is still key, and I go on to say that in this video. But it's about also splitting it up into different sections of the pitch. So hopefully I've clarified that, and we can get back to the rest of the video. Let's go into the final third as well. We can say that there's a lack of balance here because Garnacho and Rashford are too similar. They're both shoot-first players. But actually, how often do they look to pass to each other? They're not really two players which link up that often because they're so far away from each other on the pitch, which is why I prefer the idea of, again, yes, using that previous approach, but also splitting it to the left-hand side, the middle of the pitch, and then also the right-hand side. I think when we do this, we start to see more of the imbalances in the United side. Because currently, you would say, again, if we go back to it, the current 11 lacks balance. But when you bring Shaw and Lisandro Martinez in, a lot of people would say it addresses it. Yet, when we have seen that over the past couple of seasons, balanced performances still have not been on display. It's because, in my opinion, the balance is wrong across the pitch. So let's put United into a shape which, is realistically possible for us to use. Let's say Bruno Fernandes and Kobe push high, Casemiro plays in a double pivot, Dalot inverts, and we split into a back three like this. We've seen United do this on occasion over the past couple of seasons, so I think it's completely reasonable to talk about the side in this shape. Of course, Lisandro Martinez and Shaw injured for most of the season, but still, in terms of squad building, there is a lack of balance in the side. So let's start off with the left-hand side of the pitch. What do we have on this left-hand side? Well, in my opinion, initially, particularly if Lisandro Martinez is going to be involved, with Luke Shaw, we've got ourselves a little bit of press resistance, I would say. An ability to play out from the back, and also good passing and good ball retention ability. The balance is then thrown out a little bit when you put Casemiro into the mix. Someone who doesn't pass particularly well, someone who isn't press resistant, someone who doesn't keep the ball. Then we move further up the pitch towards Marcus Rashford, and we've got more of the same problem. Not really someone who wants to retain the ball, not someone who wants to keep the ball for his side, but he is an attacking threat. And the left-hand side does have that attacking threat. Rashford in the final third is pretty effective, if you ask me, and of course Bruno Fernandes coming over as well provides us with that creativity. So people will say, Rashford, Højlund, Garnacho is too direct, too much of a shoot-first mentality. When we actually look at our left side of the pitch, it's not so much of an issue because Luke Shaw gets forward, he creates, Bruno Fernandes gets forward, he creates. Yes, Marcus Rashford tends to shoot, but we've still got 2 out of our 3 players down this side are creative. So it does make you look at the balance in a slightly different way. If we now go to the right-hand side of the pitch, we've got a different problem. Down the right-hand side, I would say we've got more retention-based players. Varane, yeah, we can question his on-the-ball ability a little bit, but he's not tragic. Ball retention, he is half decent. As we move into midfield, we see now, again, if we're looking at balance, it's completely different to what we've got on the other side. With Casemiro and Bruno Fernandes together, we've got 2 players who quickly want to play forward and are incredibly direct. If we now separate it down the middle of the pitch and split it into 2 sides, we look at Dalot and Kobe Mainoo, we've got 2 real retention-based players. So that's not balanced. If our left-hand side has a load of forward players which are incredibly direct and quickly get the ball forward and turn possession over quite a lot, and then our right-hand side is made up of these players who are really retention-based, again, it's not giving us a balanced team overall. So it's not just about moving through defence, midfield, attack. When we split the pitch in this way, we see different problems. There's also a different problem in the final third. Again, down the left-hand side, I would argue we're pretty strong. Shaw joins the attack, he's creative. Bruno Fernandes is very creative and a goal-scoring threat. Rashford can create, but is also a goal scorer. So we've got plenty of attacking threat there. We move to the right-hand side of the pitch. Dalot, I think, often disappoints in the final third. I don't think his delivery is really that good into the box. His shot-creating actions, things like that, I don't think he's that good. Kobe Mainoo, of course, is a brilliant player, and he has chipped in with goals and stuff over the past few weeks. But again, I don't think he's a player which excels in the final third. He's not a creative outlet. He's not a goal-scoring outlet in the final third of the pitch. And then Garnacho also isn't particularly creative. So again, we're looking at an imbalance going the other way across the pitch. And I think this is something which United fans need to do. Often we will do live streams before a game on a Friday afternoon, and I recommend you join them. And we will try and construct a balanced starting 11. And we will talk about, our front line needs to be balanced. So we need to have perhaps 2 goal scorers and a creator. Our midfield needs to be balanced. Our defence needs to be balanced. But I think it's time that we change the way we look at it. And I think the broader world of football needs to do the same. Talk about balance, not just in the sense of defence, midfield, attack, but across the pitch also. Across the pitch is vitally important. Because like I've said, you can see, if you literally draw a line down the middle of the pitch here and split it into 2 categories of players, if we, let's say we leave Højlund, Lisandro Martinez and Onana out, because they're in the middle, so they're kind of involved on both sides. If we take Rashford, Bruno Fernandes, Casemiro and Luke Shaw and compare their strengths and weaknesses with Raphael Varane, Dalot, Kobe Mainoo and Garnacho, it's imbalanced. They are 2 completely different squads almost. They've got 2 completely different sets of ideas. Now, yes, of course, you need different threats from different areas of the pitch. But I think this is something which United need to get better at doing. Building a more balanced starting 11. It has to start this summer. Down the right-hand side, you could argue we need a more progressive right-sided player, like we've got on the left-hand side. I would argue On the left side of midfield, we need a more retention-based player. On the right, we've got Dallo and Kobbie Mainoo, both very technically secure, good on the ball, pauser to their game. On the left-hand side, we don't. So we need to adjust the balance there. We need to get a more retention-based player on the left-hand side. And then if we're going back to the right-hand side, I would argue we need a bit of creativity like what we've got on the left. On the left, we've got Bruno Fernandes, we've got Luke Shaw. On the right-hand side, we've got no one who excels in the creative department. People won't like that because people love Kobbie Mainoo and Garnacho. It's not a criticism of them. It's just not really their game to be creative players. So again, that is a balance which has to be addressed this summer. And this is why I think we need to look at squad building and team building in a different way. Again, I'm repeating myself, but it's not just about the defence being balanced, the midfield being balanced, and the forward line being balanced. There are so many different ways that we can split the football pitch up, really, to break the team down into different compartments and different areas. That's what United need to do better moving forward. To really have a tactically flexible and balanced squad, this has to be done. This has to be addressed this summer. Will it be Erik ten Hag leading them in the summer? I'm not too sure. Will it be a different manager? I don't know. Will the setup be completely different to the one we see currently? Hopefully. But it almost doesn't matter who the manager is. The squad has to improve. The players have to improve. Because I would argue, even if you make changes to this starting 11, like we said, Shaw can come in, Lisandro Martinez can come in, we still don't see a complete balance across the starting 11. And the only way you do that is by adding new players in. So United have to do that this summer. So basically, the aim for today's video was to kind of get you guys to look at balance in a slightly different way. Not that there's anything wrong with how we were doing it before, but it's just about expanding. You know, taking our knowledge almost to the next level in the way that we look at football. I've made this change over the past 12 months, I would say. Let's all do it as a community. And it's something we need to think about when we suggest players for United to sign. When we talk about signing a 6, it needs to not just complement this midfield balance, this midfield 3, but also this left side balance. That is very, very important. When we talk about a right winger, it needs to address, yes, the balance of the front 3, but also the balance of this whole right-hand side. That's what we need to do this summer, and of course, when we get there, that's exactly what we're going to do here on the channel. In terms of today, what we're doing on the channel, we're stopping there. So it's over to you guys. Get in the comments down below, and let me know what you think of this idea of changing the way that we look at it. Do you already do this? Is this already how you look at balance? Or is it something you are now going to add to the way that you look at the game, basically? Is that the right way to word it? Yeah, we'll go with that. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. But apart from that, we are finished for today. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you have enjoyed it. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.